nipping around. You felt like it was going to do a bit more, but I thought they batted really well. They stuck at it. They were quite positive to start with, trying to get the ball a little bit softer. And as you could see, probably once it gets to 25, 30 overs old, it's a bit more of a challenge. So, but we still felt like we could have picked a couple out. Obviously, we had one opportunity, but a bit of work to do tomorrow.
Ben was obviously conspicuous by his absence from the attack. Is he all right to bowl? Is he fit at all?
We're hoping so. Yeah, like he's a bit stiff and sore. He's had quite a big workload in the last few weeks, and obviously then batting in the first innings, he was getting quite a bit of cramp and stuff. So hoping that with another night's rest and a bit more physio work overnight, that he'll be back and doing a bit tomorrow.
Is there a particular injury, or is it, like you say, it's just a build up and the wear and tear?
I think it's just a build up. It's just such a heavy workload from where he's been to what he's doing. I think it's just trying to monitor it, and obviously the cramp that he was getting yesterday. You have that little bit of worry. Of course you do, because of what previously gone on. But we'll see what he's like tomorrow.
We'll go to Will.
Marcus, just on that, was it when the team went out to field, was it always the plan that he wouldn't bowl at all today?
I think so. I'm not overly sure. Don't quote me on that, but I think that was the case. Yeah, I think that was the case. I wasn't privy to that information, but I would imagine so.
Cool. And I just wanted to ask. Today was another day of kind of twists and turns, and just when we thought the game was going one direction, it veered off in another. You played in 05. Is this kind of the closest summer series you can remember to that? Just the way it's wriggled around.
Ebbed and flowed, yeah, and obviously every game being sort of 5 days at the moment. Well, I'd say that and the Australian series we had a couple of years ago. Obviously, that was very entertaining cricket, and teams were winning most games, bar the game we had washed out here, obviously. So when you get those sort of series, they're great entertainment, aren't they? Because you never quite know what's going to happen in the day's play, let alone come the end of the 5 days, let alone again at the end of the series. But two good teams, as you can imagine. They're very hard fought, and 5 test matches really sort of challenges people in different ways. So to have the 3 games go 5 days and another one gone 5 days, it's entertaining good cricket.
David, go ahead.
Hi Marcus. How impressed were you with Ben batting in the day, and how pleased are you that he's returned to form with the bat? Obviously has been with the ball, but it's his first big score with that.
Of course, great for him. He's been working really hard in just trying to find the rhythm and get the feeling back of getting those big scores. He's had a few lower scores, a couple of 30s and bits and pieces, but to get the rhythm today, especially today when he came back out, I think we saw a couple of shots this morning which were back to his best almost. Yesterday he had to work hard. He wasn't really feeling completely in flow of what was going on, but today it looked back to normal. So really pleased for him and for the team.
We'll go Sonia and then Mel and then Vish.
Hi Marcus. Obviously it's a bit early to tell, but we know the impact Ben's had with the ball throughout the series. If he isn't able to bowl tomorrow, how much of a blow will that be to the attack?
Well, of course, you take anybody out of a 4-man attack or 5-man attack, that it creates a hole, and when you're trying to push for victory on a pitch that is it's quite tricky and gets quite slow after the ball gets older. Let's not forget, he got 5 wickets in the first innings as well. So of course it's challenging, and it's never great when bowlers go down, or you don't have someone available to do the work that you need to do. It's then just up to everybody else to sort of pick up pieces and do the extra workload. You'll probably see Joe Root bowl a little bit more if he's not available. But let's wait and see. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll be all okay by tomorrow.
Mel, go ahead, and then we'll go to Vish.
I guess just following on from that, it often feels like when everything is a bit flat, it is Ben Stokes who lifts, whether it's a piece of fielding or if it's when he's bowling in that attack. Is that a worry at all? You talk about others kind of having to step up. Is there sort of the real need though or what's the lack of someone else stepping up at this time? Is that a worry, I guess?
Look, I think we've got 10 other guys in the team who are capable of doing special things also. I know, Ben gets highlighted a lot, as other players, someone like a Jofra does as well, because they can bowl 90 plus miles an hour or do something special. So, it's not something new. We've had it in different occasions. Over the last couple of years, we've also played games when we know that we're only going in with 3 seamers and a spinner, so it's not something the guys aren't aware of. It's up to everybody to find the feeling and find something and make something work right in the middle. So well, I'm sure they'll do that.
Vish, Stefan, and we'll finish with George at the back.
Hi Marcus. How much of Ben's fluency with the bat that you saw today would you attribute to, I suppose, how much trust he has in the batting line at the moment? This has probably been, I suppose, the ideal test in terms of what you've been pushing for. You know, just with the longest innings under Stokes and McCullum, but also just the way you were able to tick over at 4.25, and the fact that Ben's the last of the top 7 to get 100 this summer. Do you think that has something to do with it?
Well, you can tell he's been desperate to get big scores and contribute more than what he has been. No doubt about it. When you've got the rest of the guys all chipping in and all making match-winning performances and impacting games, you know, everybody wants to do that, all the way down to number 11. You know, even Jofra, I can't get him out of the nets in the morning. It's like he wants to bat and he wants to get runs, and everybody's capable of doing it. But, you know, Ben has been searching and looking for opportunities to be able to do so. And like we said already, that, you know, today, the second part of the innings was his most fluent that he's been you know, since probably the West Indies game when he went out and smacked it in the second innings there. So it was good to see. It's nice to have when you get a top 6, top 7 who are consistent and doing well and performing. Obviously, it makes for a good team.
I suppose from your perspective as a batting coach, is that the most satisfying innings you've seen from them?
I thought you were going to say, is it down to me then? But no, of course not. I sit there and watch the guys and enjoy every moment. I live every ball with them. So there's various things that everybody is working upon, and it's like when you're getting those moments and you see in success, then great. And Ben is no different to that, just because obviously the length of time that they've played, him and Joe or the senior guys, and it's good to see him performing back, you know, to where he wants to be.
Stefan and then George to finish.
Sorry, it's another Ben question. In Hamilton, albeit in different circumstances after he'd come back from that first hamstring injury, he bowled a lot of overs, then got injured. Here, he's bowled more overs than he's ever bowled in a series. He bowled 24 in the first innings, took 5, but then was cramping up when he was batting, and he hasn't been able to bowl in this second innings. How difficult is it to balance his workload with his influence? Because a managed Ben Stokes is better than no Ben Stokes. Yeah,
for sure. It is, you know, he loves bowling, he loves batting, he loves diving around in the field, sprinting and doing everything he can do. It's really, he is that person that just wants to be involved in the game all the time. And of course, as anybody sort of progresses in their career, they pick up little niggles or injuries that may be a little bit more prone as you go along. So you have to manage everybody as they get a little bit more longer in the tooth. And him no different because of his impact. He's obviously being captain of the team. You want him playing as many games as possible. So of course, if we can somehow find the way to limit the amount of overs he bowls in particular, then of course we have done. And maybe we've seen it at different stages throughout this series already, where, you know, he hasn't necessarily bowled those mammoth spells like he did in previous times. I know at Lords he did over the course of in between days and either side of tea or whatever it may be, but you know, if you find a way, if we can find a way, then of course it will benefit. The more games he can string together as a captain and as a leader in the group and the all-rounder he is, the better that's going to be for the team, of course.
George?
But given how precious he is to England and what's coming up, was there not quite a compelling case for him not being on the pitch today? And was there one this afternoon? And is there anyone who can persuade him to do that when required?
He's not going to leave the field today. Obviously, he's going to be captain, so we need him to do that job. And he's still fit enough to run around in the field and do what he needs to do. And B, if he was off the field, then he wouldn't be able to come back and bowl tomorrow, which we're hoping we'll see.
Okay, thank you. Cheers, Marcus.